Hi, let's go ahead and check our week 2 calendar to see what we're doing on Wednesday, April 8th. You're going to be needing your vocabulary card and your blank melodic notation paper. Vocabulary is actually what we're doing first, so if you don't have your card printed out, that's no problem. I'm going to show you the list of items that we're talking about today. This is vocabulary as far as we've gotten, and we're actually going to be pulling them into a different browser and looking at them in a different way so you can see what these all are. Melody, solfege, rhythm, and notation are where we're starting. And you can see that melody is on your vocabulary card. The front side, there's no definitions, but if you flip it over, melody is the sequential pitches that create a musical idea or a tune, something that we can sing. And when we sing them right now with do, re, mi, that is our solfege syllables. And we'll be adding our final solfege syllables to our scale after this. That's melody, solfege. Time for rhythm. Rhythm, the pattern of stressed and unstressed beats in music. So that is percussive, like a percussion instrument would play. It is what makes the melody kind of stick together. And then notation is when you take your pen or pencil and you write down music that you're hearing. So when you hear me say 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you write quarter note, eighth note pair, quarter note, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is you notating. Right now we are doing rhythmic notation, notating the rhythms. There is also melodic notation, and we're going to see that for the first time in a very low pressure way in tomorrow's video. So let's go ahead and see our whole vocabulary list. Melody, solfege, rhythm, notation. Measure. A measure is a small chunk of music, and we tend to use measures in sets of even numbers. So a 2-measure rhythm or a 4-measure melody. Right now we have measure 1 here, measure 2, measure 3, and measure 4. And each measure is ended by a bar line, our next vocabulary word. Measure 1 goes all the way to this bar line. Measure 2 continues until this bar line ends it. Measure 3 has its bar line here. And then measure 4 actually gets the double bar line, because the double bar line says not only is this measure over, but this whole song is over. The composition has ended, stop the music, go home, you're done. So it does say something much more final. It will always be on the far right hand side. Because these are just rhythms that we could speak or clap, we do have our rhythm clef. Rhythm clef is our next word. It looks like a small box or a rectangle. It is the very first thing that is going to be on your rhythm clef paper or whenever you do a notation or a quiz or a classwork. So it is all the way on the far left. If we're not working with just rhythms, if there's a tune, we would need a treble clef. A treble clef is used on the 5-line staff, and it says that this is a tune that's somewhat high notes and that they're going to be needing to go up and down. So your treble clef goes up, curls around, and swirls in a very specific place. More about that later. The treble clef tells us that you have a melody coming your way. It's not just rhythms. It is rhythms with pitches attached. And that means that it's going to have a tune and it's something that you can sing. Both a rhythm clef and a treble clef are going to be followed by your time signature. The time signature that we're working in currently is 4/4. It is just to the right of your clef, and the 4 on top tells us that there are 4 beats per measure. So we see beat 1, 2, 3, 4, and our bar line says that that measure is over. I want to show you that same rhythm again, just to confirm that there was a time signature directly next to that rhythm clef as well. And we have our types of notes here. We have our quarter notes, eighth note pairs. The whole thing would be considered our eighth note pair. Half note, And way over here in measure 3, we have our whole note. Let's go back to our vocab card for dynamics. So dynamics just means volume. So any volume related word is going to be, I might say, a dynamic marking or maybe a dynamic level. And we're going to work our way from softest to loudest. Very, very soft. We know that very is the issimo. It makes every word very exaggerated since we're using Italian words for our dynamics. So we have the piano, soft, and then we have the issimo to emphasize. Pianissimo, very soft. I'm going to work our way in order from right to left for the volume, and I'll show you why in just a second. Piano means soft. It's our second quietest. Mezzo meaning medium. Mezzo piano, medium soft. This is louder than soft. It's medium soft. We're working our way over to mezzo, medium, forte, loud. Mezzo forte, medium loud. Forte means loud, and fortissimo is basically loud, very. So if you are going to sing or speak fortissimo, that would be your shouting voice. I'm not sure how well that would translate if I were to use my fortissimo voice for this poor little microphone, but we have our whole range of dynamics here, all of these volume words. Because this is intended to be two-sided vocabulary cards that you can cut out and use as flashcards, on this side you see we go from pianissimo, piano, mezzo piano, mezzo forte, forte, fortissimo. Crescendo and decrescendo are just here as added information. They're not going to be quizzed or tested or anything like that. But they do indicate a change of dynamics, and that does make them worth mentioning. We're going to go back to solfege. So hopefully on your blank notation page from yesterday and the day before, you have do, re, mi, fa, and so. We are adding 2 more. I've gone ahead and drawn them ahead of time because I want to make sure that they're in the very specific place where they live. But it's time for us to notate these last 2 solfege syllables that are new. Do on the ledger line, re in the space above, mi on the lowest line. That lowest line cuts right through, just like the ledger line cuts through do. Mi goes up to fa in the lowest space. So on the next line, that brings us to la in the next space. You can see that it's centered in the space. La in the space, T is on the line. And this is the middle line of your 5 lines. So it should be directly in the center of your staff. You want that middle line to go right through the middle. That's why I'm using half notes here, so you can see the very precise placement. After T, we do return to the same solfege syllable that we started on. This is do, and that's because of how the musical alphabet works. I'm going to leave those labels up. Make sure you add la and T to your paper, and I'm going to recreate those with you. We need our ledger line for do. I'm going to use half notes again. Do is on the line. Re is above. Mi is on the line. Ooh, that's sloppy. Fa in the space. So on the line. La in the space. I'm going to do that one again. T on the line. Do in the space. I'm going to redo that one as well. Oop, there we go. Let's go ahead and see these in our notation software, and they'll be as quarter notes this time. Since we're not specifically talking about rhythm, we can use whatever we need to show these clearly. So you see do has that ledger line cutting right through. Do. Let's work our way up. Re, mi, fa, so, la, remove this extra measure that we do not need, because we can fit all of this into 2 measures. And let's label La, Ti, and Do. Our entire scale with all of our solfege fits into 2 measures. Measure 1 contains 4 quarter notes, and measure 2 contains 4 quarter notes. We know that this is a melody because we see our treble clef on the left-hand side. It is followed by our time signature that tells us 4 beats per measure. We know that this measure contains 4 beats and is over because we have a bar line in the dead center. And all the way at the end, we have a double bar line telling us your song is done. These vocabulary terms are going to be really relevant for tomorrow's classwork. So tomorrow, when you take a look at that, if you feel like I don't remember anything, just watch this video again, and this video will be able to refresh these for you. There's a lot of vocabulary flying right now, and it may all feel new, but we're gonna take the time to let it settle in and feel more familiar. So do not worry, we're doing the brain work and the skills at the same time. Thank you so much for today. I will show you how to submit tomorrow's work in the next video. Have a good day!